Chainsaw Man chapter 220 is officially here, and if I was to kind of put this chapter in a description of one word, it would be mental. I can't believe what is going on in Chainsaw Man right now. There's an absolute plethora of mind-blowing things taking place, and to be honest, in this chapter, I think it's specifically a bit of a mind-blowing narrative point that's being introduced, and you'll understand what I mean once we get into the review. Just before we do that though, I would like to say, if you want to see more Chainsaw Man content from myself in the future, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. That would help me out a lot, and if you want to see uncut anime reactions, then there's a link in the description to my Patreon as well. But with all that being said, let's get stuck into Chainsaw Man chapter 220. The chapter begins with Yoru using a crazy ass attack, and she is just saying rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. That is literally what the woman is saying. I have no idea what that means, but she's just waffling. But she's using crazy big bangs and all that against Pochita. The fight against Chainsaw Man continues, and it's just destruction after destruction after destruction. But when there's a little break in the action, she decides, you know what, let's use this, well, seemingly friendship that she's built up with the Darkness Devil, and let's bring out some devils that were chilling in hell, because bang, an eel devil flies out of a door and is instantly chopped into a million pieces by Pochita, and Yoru's actually a little bit upset by this. It's quite funny. She's like, oh, I actually really didn't mind that one. I quite liked that devil. But as that happens, you flip the page, and then I'm going to show you it just for a few seconds to avoid copyright, but this is the best panel in Chainsaw Man Part 2. Look at that. That's as long as it's going to be on the screen, because I don't want to get copyright, but pause if you want to. Bro, holy shit. It is, they are walking on the doors of hell as the real world is upside down in the background. It is the coolest thing I have ever seen. But it's during this panel that, well, Yoru essentially just starts to go on a bit of a diatribe about friends and family, and the fact that she understands the significance of bonds, and that, you know, that's something that Pochita just doesn't get. It's something that Chainsaw Man can't grasp, is the idea of a strong bond and how that can progress your cause in your life, and how it can make everything so much better. Are you dumb? Pochita's entire character in Chainsaw Man has been this desperation, this look for, you know, this normal life, this connection to Denji that has carried him to this point, the connection to Denji that allowed him to feel the need to create the contract with Denji in the moments of death in the first place. Pochita is somebody who represents the strength of bonds probably the most in Chainsaw Man. Him and Denji, you know, as one kind of entity, represent that. They're the driving force for that in this story, because they're the main characters, and you know, they are the reason that they coexist. They essentially only have each other. That bond keeps everything in place. That bond is the reason that they're both not, you know, at their wits' end. It is ridiculous that Yoru would suggest this. It's quite close-minded, and I hope that is brought up, because I think it's ridiculous, to be honest. But yeah, Yoru kind of continues to galvanise these devils and says, come, my kin, teach Chainsaw Man those lessons too. Obviously about the bonds and the camaraderie and stuff like that. And you get another great double panel, which I will show again for a few seconds, of a plethora of different devils attacking Pochita. It's absolutely amazing. But Pochita obviously begins to deal with them, chopping all their heads off, no issue. Yoru continues her diatribe by saying she doesn't need to beat Chainsaw Man by herself, for she is War Devil, and war can only be waged by depending on country and comrades. Get it, Chainsaw Man? This is what you lack. This is the power of bonds. Again, she is absolutely ridiculous. She does not understand at all anything about Pochita or Denji or their lives whatsoever. It's actually kind of crazy that she spent a lot of time around these people and still has absolutely no idea about what their bonds are, or their, you know, the strength of their bonds, I guess. It's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, Pochita isn't really paying attention. He's just fighting through all these devils, absolutely gnawing them. It looks like he's eating some of them, and obviously chopping a lot of their heads off. But as soon as that's dealt with, Pochita goes after Yoru once again, kind of tries to make direct contact. Yoru holds her hand out and says, "Michigan sword." And this is where we get probably, maybe even a better panel than the first double spread. Again, this is a fucking masterpiece. I will not have it any other. That is a masterpiece. It's the best thing I've ever seen. This curved reality. Absolutely amazing. And it says on the screen, kind of a narration from Fumiko. Very interesting that she's the one kind of writing the report. Chainsaw Man vs. War Devil, as documented by Fumiko Mifune. The state of Michigan collapses at 11:23 a.m. So Yoru is making a sword out of the state of Michigan, meaning that the entire place, Detroit as its main city, goodbye to that. You're gone. The place is going to absolutely crumble, and that means that all the people in the cities of Michigan and the entire state itself, are going to die, unfortunately. And Yoru's going to get a crazy ass sword made out of the state of Michigan. It is absolutely insane that she's doing that. I didn't expect anything like a state sword. I don't think that would be possible. What else can she make a sword out of then? I mean, the opportunities are absolutely endless. The potential of her ability is endless. It's unbelievable. If she can make a sword out of a state, who's to say she can't make a sword out of a country? Who's to say she can't make a sword out of a continent? Who's to say she can't make a sword out of literally anything? Like, it's fucking crazy. And we obviously need an explanation for it, but this is, in terms of the actual, scenario of the battle itself, it's obviously going to swing it, right? Like, this is going to be a very strong sword. It's made up of, well, I don't know if, like, area equals power, because obviously Michigan's, like, a big state. So, like, if you're absorbing, like, whatever power exists within Michigan, that's probably a lot, right? You would assume so. I find it interesting that she's, like, attacking America. She also stated that she loves America in her big, massive kind of speech, as she kind of went insane a few chapters ago. But right now we have to say, they are not going to be happy with her, because she's making swords out of their states and destroying states. I think it's safe to say that the United States is 51 states at this point. Certainly not the greatest looking thing in the world. But yeah, this is going to wrap up this chapter. I have no idea what to expect from the next chapter. I am stunned, to be 100% honest. I can't believe it. We have a Michigan sword now. I think it's really funny. Like I said, the narrative point, I think it's the most important part of the chapter, to be honest. This whole thing about bonds, I think it's absolutely close-minded and very dumb from Yoru's point of view. And I hope that this sort of bonds thing can actually be the reason that Pochita ends up winding up winning the fight. That would be really cool. It's sort of like a fuck you to Yoru. That would be really sick. But this chapter was absolutely insane. Loved every second of it. And I can't wait for the next one. Unfortunately, there's a break next week, so it's going to be 2 weeks' time. But in 2 weeks' time, we will be back for more Peak Soul Man, as we always are. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this review. Like I said, let me know what you think about this chapter down in the comments, and what you think about that specific narrative point around the sort of bonds thing, and how that could affect maybe the late game of part 2, or maybe the series in general. And yeah, overall, like I said, your thoughts on the chapter, I would love to hear it. If you enjoyed the review and the video in general, if you would like to leave a like on the video, that would help me out so much. And like I said earlier, if you want to subscribe to the channel and tune in for more Chainsaw Man content in the future, that would be greatly appreciated. But with that being said, thank you so much for joining me, as always. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Like I say, leave your thoughts down in the comments, and hopefully I will catch you on the next Chainsaw Man video. Thanks so much, take care, and bye for now.